Cool. And we're back, and I'm going to go live. So, I believe we are live. We should be live. It says that it's starting. I can never tell. There's always a slight delay, so I'm just going to assume. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paul Sokol, and welcome to the Knights of Automation Mastermind. This is the second one for May of 2025. We're going to talk about whatever automation you may be noodling on here. Just hop into the Google Meet and we'll go wrap. I got my buddy Justin here with me that we talked about confirmation links last time. As a reminder, we do this on the second and the fourth Thursday of every month at 4 p.m. Pacific, at least for right now. And so since we talked about opt-in links last time and we did a whole bunch of tests on, confirmation links, what I want to do is let's talk about opt-out links, because there's some fanciness that we can do here specifically around custom opt-out links, and then custom actions with the opt-outs too. So say hi in the chat, everybody. Let us know that you're here, and if you have any questions, let me know. And of course, you can always hop into the link that's pinned and go right into the Google Meet, and we'll talk about whatever you want. Otherwise, we're going to talk about unsubscribes. So let me go ahead and pull that up, and we're going to have some fun here. And what's going to be the best way to do this? I think I figured out a decent way to produce this. Because I need to share my screen, but then you also need to be able to see it, Justin. So I would need a third monitor. I could use a third monitor, y'all. Actually, you can see the chat, can't you, Justin? Are you seeing that in Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So please let me know if anybody hops in and has questions, because I'm going to share my second screen so we can look at Keap. All right, let's go look at let's start here. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to have some fun here. So I'm going to share screen number 1. Okay. So here we are, and I'm going to ignore this. And all right, so we talked about custom opt-in links last time, and we learned that the system will only send 2 per month, but we can use the standard opt-in links. We can send custom opt-in links as often as we want to get people to confirm. So we're going to talk today about an opt-out link. And so let's go. I'm going to open in. I wish we could do multiple windows in this new browser. This new menu here. In our marketing settings, we're going to go back to our automation links here. And we are going to, so there's the custom update opt-out links. So that's one thing that's really cool, is we can create a link that it doesn't necessarily opt people out, but it does allow them to make updates to their information. Okay? So for example, here's this ps.me update link. I'm going to edit this. This link is exclusively an update type. So when people click on it, they're only going to have the chance to update their information. They're not going to be able to, unsubscribe. Which this is helpful if people have emails that they need to change, because the email address is kind of like the central thing. So if somebody wants to change their email, but they opt in with a new email address, that old record's still going to be in the system with their old email. So this is a safe way to let people update their current existing contact record with a new email address. And so as we talked about last time with the opt-in, we can have custom link text, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to update. Let's just do I don't know if these are being used anywhere, but let's just do one totally from scratch. We're going to go create a new one. This is going to be a update only link is what we'll call it. And it's an update only. And then for the language here, we're going to say, click here to update your file. Or rather, let's say, click here to update the information we have on file. Okay. Wow, information we have on file. Okay, that's what this is going to say. So that's what that link is actually going to look like when we put it into an email. So I'm going to save it, but I'm not going to close it. And the reason why is because now we have the link ID. So this is link number 40 that we're going to use, okay? And then the other thing too is we can also have actions associated with this. So if you wanted to do something when somebody updates their information, or rather at least clicks on it, you can trigger an action. You can trigger tagging or starting something else up. So depending on the experience you're looking to create, this might be really cool. So let's go ahead and remember this is link number 40. And the other thing too is for the updatable fields as well. You can choose for people to be able to update everything that they have on file or just the email address only. Okay, and so we'll go see how this looks in just a moment. So I'm going to save and close this. And then let's go and create, let's go into our sandbox and let's use this opt-in, or rather not, it's technically an opt-out, as you'll see. Let's use this in our sandbox. So these are opt-ins and opt-outs are special classes of links with special functionality and built-in context that the system understands. So could you just make a link to like some landing page where people update their info? Sure. But like I said, that would just create another contact, not update their info on file. So let's go do an update email, update link only. All right, let's grab an email, and here's an email. And we're going to have this come from, let's just have this come from me. And this is an update on the email. And this was link number 40, so check this out. We're going to create some content. We're just going to start from scratch here. And so it feels like loading. So this unsubscribe right down here, this is the official unsubscribe. And we talked, what we'll talk about is creating custom ones of these, right? This is fixed. We can't really do much with that. We can put some link before it. We can put some extra text here. But that's really it. Extra context. Here's the link. Post-subscribe link. So this is kind of all these functions, right? We can put language before, after, have some extra context. But we want to talk about using an update link specifically. So I'm going to grab this here, make it a size 16 so it matches the unsubscribe. Even though it doesn't look like it, when you preview it, the unsubscribe is about, or they changed it and I put my whole foot in my mouth. We'll find out. So link number 40, right? So hello, please update your information. And then this is where we'll use link number 40. So this is kind of like a hidden merge field. So last time we used that whole opt-in, we use that format, right? So what's neat is we can use the opposite and say opt-out number 40. So this should, if I've done it right, this should render, there you go, click here, update the info we have in file. So this is that custom link that we created a moment ago, right? So let's go ahead and explore this functionality here. I'm going to, I have to publish this whole thing and then send it out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And this is actually a good training on how do you test automation as well. Because you can send a test, but sometimes it looks, the test doesn't always show up correctly. Because it's merging in user information, not the actual contacts information. So if you have custom fields or stuff like that, it's just not gonna. So let's go ahead and we're gonna publish this, and then we're gonna add myself to it. So let's go ahead and load this up again. I'm gonna keep campaign open in here. And let's go find my test contact record. Let's use, we'll use my Keep Children Rocking email. That's a good one. So Paula KCR, great. I'm going to go ahead and manually add myself into this automation. this is the 25 sandbox. And then we had the update link only. Cool. So when we're testing our automations, especially if we have like, things we're doing over and over again or really trying to make it pixel perfect, this is a very handy thing to know because we can always resend this email. So like we can go publish it and make changes and resend it. So that's what we're going to do throughout this call is we're going to go ahead and make use of that. So we'll go hop into the full record and it should have sent by now. And I'm just going to run this ahead of time. Okay. Oh, it's already been processed. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is let's go into our mailbox and search for unread. And I should be right at the top of the stack. Update only. Here it is. Okay. So here's our link, right? So when I click to update it, I can update the information on file, which is different than the unsubscribe link down here. When I click unsubscribe, I can update the information, but I can also unsubscribe from the list, which is the entire database, right? So you can see this one's the update only, and then this one is the true unsubscribe, right? And so like if I wanted to make if I wanted to actually put my postal code on file, we can do that. So update my info. Here you go. Great, it's been updated. So if I were to go back into Keap and I go refresh this contact record, I'm now going to have a postal code on here because I updated it. Okay. So that was technically a custom opt-out, but it was not that only. See, there you go. Let's see, what else can we do with this? So the other thing that's cool that we can do too is you can technically make any link that you want an opt-out or an update link. You don't have to use that syntax of, opt-out 40, right? We can actually reverse engineer the link that it gives us and make any email link an unsubscribe. Okay, because what if, for example, what's a real life use case? What if I don't want it to be a link? What if I don't want it to be a piece of text that's click here to update the info on file? Because the other thing too is that you can't really additional sentence, right? If we use this, it's going to merge in a little weird. Now, obviously, I can go ahead and change the words here, but notice there's a double space. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could get rid of the space here, and then it's going to preview correctly. Again, good automation isn't going to look like we actually did anything in the first place. But what if I wanted to maybe make like an image or a button, an opt-out, right? Or something that's a little more delightful, so please, I forgot what it even said. Thank you. What if we wanted to make a button be the opt-out, right? So we're going to get in some real fun stuff. So, okay. Please secure update in the file. Thank you. Okay, but what if we wanted this button to be that, right? You can't really put the opt-out merge in here because it's like, how do you get that link? It's a merge by itself. So this is something I cover in the cookbook because at the very end, it's in chapter 10. It's one of those hacks, right? And it is technically a hack because what we're doing is we're reverse engineering how the link itself works. So let me, I'm pulling it up here so I can remember because it's kind of hacky. Check this out, y'all. I want to point something out. So this link right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this. Let's go look at this inside a text for a moment, and then let's make this a little bigger too. Zoom in. Okay, so look at the structure of this link. So obviously it has the account that it's coming from, /app/opt-out, right? But then notice we have the ID right here. Remember, there's link number 40. There's link number 40, and then we have two more hashes that are seemingly meaningless. Well, go ahead and let's compare these two. I'm going to manually, let's do this. We're going to republish this change. We're going to send it again, and I'm going to show you how the link changes, but how it's the same. So we've made these changes. It's published. Now I can just resend this. I don't have to mess around too hard. I've published the campaign. I can resend it. We're going to go see the new version in just a moment. Okay? So, in fact, I can do to Paul Keap, Joe Rockin, just to. Oh, it should be to me exactly. There we go. Update only test. So here's the link, right? And then of course this isn't functioning yet. I'm going to copy this link again. Let's compare this to the other send. So you'll notice that this is the exact same as the previous one. The only difference are these hashed bits at the end. Okay? So here's the magic trick. The magic trick is that for every opt-out link, update or opt-out, whatever that you have, it's always going to have this unique hash associated with it. Okay, this number will never change. What these two numbers are, this is technically the batch ID, or rather, this is the send ID itself, and then this is a hash that's accompanying it. So there, I didn't even know how I discovered these merge fields back in the day, but I did. So there is an email.id and email sent.id. So I had to pull out my cookbook because I did this. Did it once, don't do it again. Email sent.partial hash, right? So I don't even know how I discovered these merge fields, but they're there. This right here can now be put behind any link, any linked image, any button, and it's gonna function the exact same way. Okay? So I'm gonna go back to our sandbox here, and we're gonna go update this link only. And by the way, yes, we are doing this, and yes, this is distinct to Keap in this specific example, but most email tools work in this way somehow. So if you really look at the link structure of certain things, you can reverse engineer and figure out how this stuff works. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this button opens up a website. And again, it's the same link that we had before, where this is the same, and then we have the send ID and the partial hash. Okay, so let's save and exit this, and then we're going to send it again. And we will now have taken any unsubscribed link. Excuse me, Keap. I think I hit back too far. We're going to take any unsubscribed link or opt-in link for this matter. This also works with an opt-in link. We were talking about the confirmation links earlier too. They have this exact same structure. In fact, I think it even is opt-out, but if it's an opt-in linked ID, it does it. We'll check that in just a moment. And with most of these kind of hacky things, be responsible with it. Don't be using this to break the rules, because you'll get your account shut down. Great power comes great responsibility. So let's be responsible. Oi. Are we having fun, Justin? Is this making sense? Are there any in the comments? Usually you can see Facebook's up here. I'm usually got Facebook open. I can look at the comments and then I'm over here, but
I have not seen anything as of yet.
okay. And if you have commented, I apologize. The Facebook Live producer, the last couple of times I've done it, it doesn't show me the comments live in real time, and I don't know what's going on. So we're definitely not ignoring you if you have been commenting. Okay, I want to make sure it saved all these changes, and then we'll republish it. And then that's basically kind of it for the day. Yeah, there you go.
Should be able to have a chat section in OBS as well, actually.
Yeah, I know that there's like the Streamlabs stuff that like they can do with that. I haven't explored it. Over time, we'll probably move this over to like a Zoom or something. But
yeah,
for this version 1, anybody can hop into a Google Meet and we'll have some fun. All right. So now I'm going to resend this email again now that I've published those changes to the campaign. There it is. All right. Let's go back to finding anything sent to me. Let's refresh that. Okay. So now if I click here to update my info, oh no! This officially looks like it is broken. Look at that. So it looks like the way that these opt-out links are rendered now, this is no longer valid because you see there's that Keap link. So this is the URL now for any link that's like a trackable link. Okay, so it's obviously way more secure and fancy in this v-click, all this jazz. So that's what breaks. Because look, when I click here, it didn't actually merge those email send ID. Did I do it right? Email sent.id. Email sent.partial hash. Yeah, these merge fields may not work in the new builder, so let's test it one more time. And rip to that. I'm just going to go and grab the let's see if these do publish. Because maybe it's just something we can't hide it behind a button because reasons, but we'll find a way. Not on this call, because obviously people's time is quite valuable here. Okay, let's try this again. But we can still use the opt-out tilde merge, and we can create our own custom opt-out links, our own custom update links, and then everybody's happy. Okay, so these merges still work. For some reason, it doesn't work. It doesn't merge behind the links anymore. So we'll play around with that a little bit more. So one other thing I want to talk about before we close out today is how the custom unsubscribes can work. So if we go back to Keap here, can I open this in a new window? Can't open it in a new window anymore, and that's frustrating. If we look at our automation links, and then we looked at our opt-out links, right? Whatever, unsubscribe. Nope, that's not the wrong one. If we do a custom, actually, let me use a real life one. So I think this one has it. The newsletter opt-out. So the other, so opt-out. This is an opt-out exclusive link, not an update and update option. This opt-out or stop receiving, right? So this is something that's unique to an opt-out link, because when they're asked to change their subscription preferences, there's of course the remove all option entirely, or they can choose this particular option. And then when people select that, then these actions, whatever, would run. Okay, so let's go and see how this looks. This is number 24. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just swap back over to Keap, and let's go back into our sandbox, and we're just gonna use that same homie we've been using before. And this is now an opt-out number 24, which I'm mostly saying for my own, make sure I can remember it. Okay, opt-out 24. We can always preview it, make sure it looks right. And this does say start unsubscribing, because in my emails I'll write the sentence around it. So then it always is, start unsubscribing. Which, by the way, copywriting lesson here. This is a command. Whenever we're hyperlinking stuff, you, in most cases, want to always make it a full command and be a verb. So start unsubscribing. Now, I used unsubscribing because it's passive. It's a strong, it's usually you want to use active voice. Click here to update, right? You wouldn't want to say click here to start updating the information. It's weaker, right? Because I technically don't want people to unsubscribe, at the end of the day. I want to make it a weaker call to action. So that's why I always have it be start unsubscribing, because it's more of a passive thing, right? Little psychological side note there. Okay. So let's explore how this opt-out only works with that specific option of stop receiving leads, which I went too far back again, man. I got one of those gamer mouses that has the back and forward buttons on the side of it, and so I'm still getting a little click happy when I hit back.
That's what I have as well. I get it. It's been a bit of a bane of my existence from time to time.
Oh yeah, especially with certain UIs, the back isn't going back in the browser necessarily, so it's more of like an on-page interaction. So then you just back out of whatever you're looking to do, and you're like, man,
Yep.
Ruined it. All right, cool. So postings automation. Let's go back to the contact record I was just looking at. Let's go resend this one again, and now it's not just the update link only, but that's fine. It's funny, after these kinds of calls, my inbox is always just like full of stuff. I always got to delete it. Okay, so now, start unsubscribing. So again, going back to the earlier conversation, the way these links are, see, it's still, this is always going to be the same. And then this is now email send ID here, and then the partial hash for that. All right, so if I click this, you see this stop receiving under the hair. If I do this option only, it's not necessarily going to unsubscribe me from the entire database. It is going to run the action that I've programmed in here, which will remove these tags. And if there is a phone number on file, it's going to create a task to call them saying, hey, I saw you opted off of my list. Because again, this is specifically from my newsletter opt-out. It's the only place it shows up. Okay? Pardon me. So if I select this and I hit unsubscribe, it's been updated. When I go into Keap, my status should still be confirmed because I didn't fully do a list unsubscribe. And oh boy, I hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth, but it's always worked like this. And there you go. See? If I had chosen any of these ones right here, that will change my email status to an unsubscribe. Okay? And so this is the best way to manage your lists without having, it's almost like a soft opt-out, right? So they click to say, hey, I want to stop receiving these emails, cool, and then it just runs this, takes me off of the list, doesn't completely remove me from the database. So that's that. And what's interesting is this language no longer shows up this opt-out page was different. We used to have extra language right here, but now all we have is this header piece because they did change this. They changed this feature many years ago. That's how old I am. Okay, so we have beaten the dead horse for opt-outs pretty heavily today. We have looked at how to create an update link. We've looked at how to turn that link into, well, we explored putting it behind a button, but we learned that while these merge fields work, they no longer actually merge, at least behind a button. In fact, I'm curious. What if maybe it's just something associated with buttons only. Maybe it's just a button only issue. What if we just have like a piece of text? Or like an image or something. Let's see. Because now I'm curious. So this is the URL with the send email separate. I mean it worked. It rendered in the thing when we saw it. So let's do this. Let's grab a heading here. So use this to update your info. If I go make this a URL with this in here, let's see if it works. And then I also want to just grab a random image and let's do the same thing. Give me a recent image in here. Fine, my dad's upcoming book here. I'm going to turn this into a... Now, because it's this same action modal, the same thing as here, my guess is we're probably going to see the same behavior. Okay, that's just my guess. This, though, because this is a text-based link, maybe it will work. I don't know. Let's find out. And this is super deep in the weeds, right? Because sometimes it's like a good magic trick or like a really good special effect in a movie. When it works, it just works and nobody is aware that you did anything. But if they mess it up, you're like, ugh, obviously. And so this is one of those super subtle details that we don't want it to be a ugh, obviously. All right, so does this work? Probably not because it's hidden behind the keep link thing. And it didn't put the send ID in there. Okay. So it looks like pretty much any trackable link in this new builder is it's a no-go anymore. Okay, well, actually, hold on. Yeah, there's probably no way around it anymore, y'all, at least for today. Maybe in the future. But I guess we should probably wrap it up. So we looked at how to create custom update links, the various beat a dead horse into the ground of how all these links work. And I did copy it right, correct? It is because I wonder, when I go ahead and click on this, okay, it is this big nasty whatever. But it does attempt to resolve briefly. And it resolves to this, app link click, here. Okay. So where's this going? Who knows what this return is? Okay, that's fine. So this is the partial send hash. This is the email send ID, and this is the partial hash. So I wonder, if we just start the link, if we assume the root, because I don't know if you knew this, but when you're on a website, and you don't put in like the domain, it's just going to assume the root domain for you. Okay, so in theory, if I do this, see, if I just get rid of this, it's going to assume whatever the root domain is. So what if I just get rid of this? See, it's going to say you have to use a URL, but we know it's going to resolve to a URL. Will it let me save? So it did let me save. And we know that when we clicks, it goes link, click, this. You know what? It's probably not going to work. I'll play around with it later, y'all. But that's that. So anyway, we had fun today. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. So that is that. Thank you for hanging out for the Nights of Automation. Remember, we do this on the second and the fourth Thursday of every month at 4 o'clock Pacific. And that means the next one is going to be on June 12th, I believe. Yes, Thursday, June 12th. So go ahead and hang out with us. If you thought this was cool, let us know. If you thought it was stupid, please also let us know. Actually, let me specifically know, and we will go ahead and